Hi, this is Christopher Spera, and this is the iTechGear Weekly, episode number 104. I like big phones, and I cannot lie. Recorded live Sunday, August 25th, 2024. As I said, I'm Christopher Spera, the editor-in-chief over at iTechGear.org, and joining us today, the former contributing writer over a Gear Diary and currently the host of the Linux Link Tech Show and Living in the Retro Arcade podcast and editor over here at iTechGear.org, Brother Joe McLaughlin. How are you, sir?
Good evening. I'll soon be bio-enhanced. And I guess that's the best.
Yes, your cyborg appointment is coming up.
Yeah, I'm qualified to get the Inspire sleep. Let me tell you, folks, sleep apnea ain't no joke.
Nope.
No, it's not.
And if you don't want to sleep with a mask, and I don't, then the only option is getting cut open, and not cut open. It's outpatient, 90 minutes.
The thingy
three things.
Right?
Yeah, there's one that goes in your chest, one in your neck, which is for your airway, and then one down by your rib cage, which detects when you breathe. So
okay,
but we'll see what that is. I should get the appointment from Ohio ENT. Hopefully this week, I'm hoping, but yes. I don't know when that's going to happen. I also got to figure out how to pay for it because it ain't cheap. But it's a better alternative. But that's what's been going on in my life.
Well, that's exciting news because honestly, I think I suffer from the same doggone thing, and I don't even want to go.
I do too. I just finally gave up and quit using it.
I don't want to go through the hose. I really don't. Which is why I haven't gone to the doctor for it. I don't want to go through. They're going to make you go through the hose before you get the implant, and I don't want to do the hose because I'm not going to be able to sleep. So
it's tough.
It is.
If you're a back sleeper, it's easier, but I'm not.
See, I'm a side sleeper, and it's not.
Me too.
All right. So no. And those, there you go. Also joining us this week. The former co-owner of WUGNET Publications and, of course, editor over here at iTechGear.org, Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I went through the same thing. 50 different masks, and none of them were perfect, and different hoses. And
see,
it's just a mess. So you're lucky you qualify for that. You're young enough and healthy enough now that you can do it.
Absolutely.
So, I don't care what it costs. Just do it. Do it.
Yeah. See,
Other than that, everything's good here in East Tennessee. Just
awesome.
Nothing special.
Yeah. We are without Mr. Chris Gavula this week. He is on extended leave. So the dulcet tones will be back at a later date. So we'll miss him until then. But hey, did you guys? I saw this and I was like, well, no, this is silly. This is really, and why would you ever type them? But did you see that typing, a certain set of characters, of 4-character series, in the search bar in settings on your iPhone will crash the interface?
It crashes the springboard. Yeah. That's from TechCrunch. I saw that this week and I thought, well, that's interesting. It's fortunately there's no it's not a vulnerability. They can't use that to hack your phone.
There's not a security issue here.
I wonder, did Apple do that just for some kind of fun and games thing? Just
it could be.
Will anybody find it thing,
Well, it's like, who's ever gonna type a set of double quotes and a colon? I'm like, into the settings app. Yeah, into the settings app. And that's where it is. You can do it anywhere else in the phone and it's fine. But if you do it in the settings app, at least on both my iPad and my iPhone, it just took me right back to the launcher. So
which is what it did to me. Which is exactly what it did to me. So I don't understand what I don't know. I don't want to say what the hype was for this. I don't know that there was hype for this, but
there must have been 40 channels carried it in the news.
But yeah, well, anytime anything out of the ordinary happens on an iDevice, that's gonna get noticed. Well, so I mean, that's simple, because it's one of the most popular phone platforms on the planet. So
it's whenever it rains in Cupertino, the whole world reaches for an umbrella.
Yeah, but this is all right. So I see in journalism, when a formal editor goes through a piece and submits changes to an author, they call them TKs. All right.
Mhm.
And there's a
Mhm.
reason why we call them TKs. It's because a T and a K, there's nowhere in the English language that a T is followed immediately by a K. There's no word, there's nothing, there's no reason for a T ever to follow a K in the English language. All right. Which is why they get called TKs. It's the same thing here. Where in the world are you ever going to get an open quote, an end quote, and then a colon or two slapped right next to each other? Where are you ever going to type that, especially in the settings app in the search bar?
Yep. Yep. I don't know. You know, that's yeah. Yeah, it's just how someone found that beyond me. But
I don't get it. I
Yep.
really just don't get it. This
like you're typing random crap in the settings app,
and all of a sudden it goes bloop.
If you
and you're
get
like,
it, boys and
ooh,
girls, send us an email and tell us what it's all about.
Yes.
We want to know.
yeah.
I don't know what the big to do is over this particular thing. So the settings app crashes and or the springboard interface goes bloop. I don't know that is settings even still running because I had just done this. And yes, settings is still officially running in the background. It just kind of goes takes you back to your home page, but settings is still running. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that. Exactly.
Exactly.
It's the best comment you could have made, Larry.
uh,
And speaking of canceling big products, did you guys
yeah.
see did you guys see that Meta has canceled its Vision Pro competitor largely because um the Vision Pro, Apple's Vision Pro isn't doing very well?
Well, I have something to say about that.
Okay.
And it starts with
Mhm.
I don't care. But
Right. Yeah.
but I do give Meta credit for knowing it would be a wasted effort. And if
Right,
Apple can't
right,
make Vision Pro a success, which I personally don't think it is, nor will be, Meta is making a wise move by canceling any plans for a competitor to Vision Pro to,
right.
well, nothing. So I put this in a bucket of business common sense. Either it won't beat the Vision Pro or there won't be a Vision Pro to beat. Either way, Meta's doing a smart thing. They're dropping whatever it was they were going to make. And I know someone had to advise Zuck to do this because he's not bright enough to do this himself. He's
Well,
just
I
not.
think he's also very stubborn, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Somebody
and
had to tell him to
I think he
stop it.
would have taken it there. I think he would have driven those pineapples to Hawaii, right? All right. If somebody hadn't called him off,
Yep,
right?
somebody did.
Somebody did. So good for that person. They earned their salary for the week, right? I don't understand though what really this was probably the better decision, the best decision I think that Meta has made in a long time. All right. Because honestly, I don't know that their current um VR headsets are doing very well either.
Well, when they start working on this new one? Like a year ago or something,
Something
I
like
think.
that. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. But I don't think that their current VR headsets are doing well enough to warrant even chasing after an updated version. I
I
mean,
thought it
why?
was interesting that they said, we have a lot of prototypes in development at all times, but we
Uh-huh.
just don't bring them all to production. We move forward with some, we pass on others. It-
Mm-hmm.
it's just, how much wool can they pull over people's eyes?
Right. I
The
don't get
real
it.
reason is there's nothing for them to compete with because there's probably not going to be a Vision Pro. So why
Well,
should they bother?
well, yeah, see, I think Apple's going to eventually end up killing it, but that's just me, you know. Um, it's not going anywhere. It's not doing anything. I don't see in the current VR headsets that are out there. Apple wanted this to be more than just a gaming slash movie entertainment kind of thing, right? They wanted it to be more, which is why there's productivity apps and ways to do meetings and whatnot. And that's really kind of what they featured and talked about. That's what I took away from when the Vision Pro was introduced, was it's not just for gamers anymore. You could also do real work with this. And
Yeah,
it
but
just,
I yesterday I drove to West Town Mall to pick up
Mhm.
a new Logitech camera for the new house for HomeKit.
Right,
And as always, the Apple store that's where I bought it. The Apple store it was 50% full. It always is.
right,
And the Vision Pro table was dead empty as always.
as
And the
always,
kid I
sure.
was talking to, I pointed at the Vision Pro table right next to the pick up your order table.
Right.
And I gave him that look like, what the? And
Yeah,
he just shook his head. He said, it's like that every
every day.
day these days.
Wow. Wow.
So nobody's even coming in to try the headset on.
Well,
Dead.
it's big, it's bulky, it's heavy.
It's got to be big somewhere. I mean, some other Apple store in California or somewhere has probably been
I,
getting some mileage,
well,
but it's not
one would
here in
hope,
Knoxville.
but I mean, I don't see it going anywhere. I don't see it getting any farther. I don't see it doing anything. It's not going. It's not going to go anywhere as a productivity machine, and as a gaming or an entertainment machine, it for the cost of the Vision Pro is just not there. All right, the value proposition for a home entertainment kind of thing or a gaming kind of thing at $3,500 is just not there. The
Well,
value
supposedly
proposition
the most expensive thing in that headset, or even in the one that Meta was about to create,
was the
is the
glass.
micro OLED displays.
Yeah, the
That's the
glass,
big,
right?
big dollar ticket.
Yeah.
And if something's going to, I don't know. I agree with Meta. I just dump it.
No, this was a good decision, and you're not going to hear me praise Meta all that often, but this
No,
was a
no,
good
me
decision.
either.
This was a good decision to kind of, cancel or pass on this.
Yeah.
So
Yep. It's not like that their other stuff has been selling tremendously
no,
anyway.
and that's exactly what I've been saying. I don't even know, I don't for the price point that the Vision Pro is at $3,500, you cannot hang your hat on a gaming slash home entertainment system at $3,500.
No,
The
but
value
Meta
Yeah.
said they
proposition is
had to
not
bring
there.
this competitor in at under $1,000 if
Right,
they were going to be successful. And they said that the OLED displays precluded that from happening. They
right,
couldn't do it.
right. No, no. And I don't think that I think Apple's going to end up passing on this.
Because
It
they
may
were, for
take
the
them a
same
little bit.
reason, they can't make it any cheaper, much cheaper
Right,
either.
right. I think, like I said, I see this having a limited shelf life. I don't see this going
Yep.
anywhere for anybody or anything. But that's just me. Um, but what is kind of exciting that's coming up. All right. There seems to be, I don't know if I don't think the invitations have gone out. So I don't think it's been quote unquote formally announced. Right. But the
It's
iPhone,
usually 2 week point.
right, right. This is the iPhone event that we usually have. Um,
Mm-hmm.
is sort of scheduled to, or at least anticipated to be scheduled on September 10th. And I, for one, am interested in seeing what's going to happen with this, what's going to go on with this, what they're going to go ahead and do and have. Um, I am very interested to see I mean, you're looking at the iPhone 16 series, the Apple Watch 10 series, AirPods 4, right? Um, App, Mac Rumors has a nice little article on what they're expecting.
If you believe Gurman, the biggest show stealer other than the iPhone is going to be the new totally redesigned or Mac Mini.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
same size as an Apple TV. Give me a break.
Right.
You know,
I'll be having one. Thank you.
Right.
Anybody want to buy an M3 MacBook Air?
I can't. I know I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Anyway, but yeah, no, it's if that is what's gonna happen, that will be very, very interesting with an M4 processor in it.
And they'll
And
put the Pro in it. There'd be
you
an
know,
option for it.
with uh, uh a a nifty 512 or 256 um SSD in it. I mean, that'll be interesting to see.
That'll work well with this Apple Studio display.
You know,
Yeah.
you know.
I think it'll be a good show this year. I really do. I think it'll be a little bit better than usual.
I hope so. I hope so because the last couple, while we knew what was going to happen, everything kind of sort of came out at the last minute, and which usually happens, right? Um, with with the stuff. I mean, you get with Google, they announce everything about 3 months before it actually debuts, and and then
Right.
it's sort of confirmed or reconfirmed and debated a little bit
I
to see how
eh,
the public will take it, and then they finally come out with everything.
yeah.
But they'll leak that early too.
Yeah.
With Apple, it
Uh,
doesn't really leak until like the night confirmed, and any of the quote unquote leaks until like the night before.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe they're talking about this out and they're saying Apple robot. Maybe this is just the home pod with the screen on it. I mean, that just yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, that's
that
the one
that
thing
could
I
be
have a
interesting,
question.
you know, to
They
be able
can't
to
sell
Right.
the HomePod, so who's
Exactly.
going to buy
I
it with
mean,
a screen? I have one, but they
well,
can't
it,
sell
Right.
it.
it would be interesting to have something like that. Um, what Meta came out with something. I thought Amazon had something that was
yeah,
similar,
they do.
right? But if this was a
Yeah.
full blown iPad or iPad Air, right,
On an arm? What
on
do you
an
do?
arm
No,
that
no,
might be
I think it's going to go with Home, with the Home app
I do
and
too.
HomeKit. That's what I think it's
well, I
for.
think
Yeah.
there may be a specific interface for that. Maybe it'll run that as a default something or other. But if you've got a full blown iPad or iPad Air or iPad Mini on that thing, with FaceTime and the ability to control Apple TV or whatever else, right? That could be,
But it wouldn't be
and
portable.
it's on a nice little.
But it's not portable. It's just sitting there. It can't.
It would be something that you would have in the kitchen or that you would have in a family room or something that
Yeah.
that would be nice, right?
Or
Because
maybe it is portable. Maybe it pops off a little thing like
maybe
the Google Pixel display.
maybe I don't know. All right, it could be interesting. It depends on what they end up doing with it. But
Only Tim knows.
right, no,
Yep.
it's but only Tim knows at this point, and Tim ain't telling. Um, but you know what I find though is really, really kind of nice is unless you are looking for the faster chip or for the enhanced action button or maybe a camera upgrade, if you've got a 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max, you're set. You know, the AI, the Apple AI stuff, the new stuff coming out in iOS 18 will fully run
It will work.
on your 15 series phones. So you're not missing out on
Right.
anything, right? In fact, I'm pretty certain that unless they're going to do something different with the hardware in the button, I bet you the button functionality is going to be exactly the same. It's just going to be a press or a double press, right?
They got to do something different to make people buy it. They might change the action button, Chris.
I don't know. I think that would be, I think if they did, I would see that as a gratuitous change that didn't need to be made. All right, because you can do it with, no, seriously, a double press on the same hardware is a software function that I can get somebody to write in probably 5 minutes. All right,
Yep.
as opposed to a new hardware component piece that'll cost me, you know, what a nickel more per unit times how many millions of units?
And they've only been talking about the iPhone 16 since the iPhone 15.
Which
Yeah,
is
iPhone
since
15.
last year when the 15 was introduced, right?
Just the day after
Yeah.
the last event.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and they're already talking about the 17
The
too. It's
17.
like,
Oh
come
yeah,
on,
they
dude.
are.
Well, they started talking about the 17 halfway from the point where they started talking about the 16, 6 months after that. After the
Yeah.
15 was introduced, they started talking about the 17.
This is why iTechGear.org is not a rumor site.
No, we don't do rumors.
No,
I mean, because it's
we might
ridiculous.
discuss them on the
And
show a
when we
little bit.
almost do rumors,
Right.
we've been pretty darn good.
Right. Well, we
All right.
Guessing.
we may chat about them on the show, but nothing like that's gonna have a
But
site.
the
So
one thing we can say is there will be an iPhone 16.
there will be an iPhone 16, a 16 Pro, and a 16 Pro Max.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't know what
It'll
else.
probably be in September.
Yep.
Yeah, probably will be. It'll be announced
Looking-
in September. It'll probably be available for purchase by the end of September, beginning of October, and will ship and arrive at a house or doorstep near you between the middle to end of October for first shipments. So,
Yep.
that's kind of what I'm thinking, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and I want to move us to our mobile Linux segment, and since we're talking about new devices,
Yes.
Joel, Google's got some new phones that are
They
becoming
absolutely
available.
They
So what's going
absolutely
on with
do.
Google's current phone lineup?
All right. Well, according
Is
to
it a
folks
mess?
at-
Is it a mess or is it not a mess?
Well, some are saying it is. Like I saw this story that we have linked here, and there's also one from 9 to 5 Google where they talk about them being a mess. But when I look at this is here because they have the 7A, the 8A, the 9 Pro, 9 Pro XL, the 9 Pro Fold. That's the current lineup. The 7A is probably just selling out the stock, is my guess at this point. But some are saying that the lineup is a mess. I don't really think so. I think what it's doing is it's getting people opportunity, myself anyway, is giving people opportunities to get in at a price point that they can afford.
That's probably more than anything.
Yeah,
Whereas
well,
they also have the 7.
That's
and
really
the
what
8
I think it
Pro,
is.
too.
I mean, because
well, didn't Apple in contrast, didn't Apple at one point have like
the
have
10, the 11, the
13s,
12,
the
yeah.
13s,
a
the
lot of people
12s,
forget
and the
that.
11s available?
Yeah.
This is no
Yep.
more than that, is it? I mean, this
Nope.
is comparatively, it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean it's really just that, and the way I look at it, like I'll bring that phone down to church or something, and someone will say, "Well, I really like your new phone. What kind of phone is that?" And I say, "Oh, it's the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, and it costs $1,000." And they're like, "I ain't got $1,000." I can say, "All right, well, if you want one similar to it, you can go with the Pixel 8A, which is $499." And they'll be like, "Oh, that's a little bit better. Still expensive, but a little bit better." But in all the hosts here, $100 difference, which some of these, that's the biggest difference there is between one phone to the next. And for us, that's not a big deal. We're going to go with the one that costs the extra $100. But for some people, that's just not doable. So having that
I
other
read an
lineup,
article about that.
yeah,
$100 price point difference is a deal breaker for a lot of folks.
For a lot
it
of
really
folks.
is.
Mhm.
It really is.
So
And
maybe it's a good thing that Google's
yeah.
doing this.
There's nothing, I don't see that there's anything wrong with the lineup that they've got.
Right.
I will
agree.
say the same thing that I've said about the Samsung lineup and the Google lineup, though, is that their foldable phone, right,
Mhm.
is almost $2,000. All right, the Pixel
Yeah.
Fold is 17. Pixel 9 Fold is 1799, so it's $1,800. All right, I think the Samsung Galaxy Fold 6
19, I think.
is 19,
Mhm.
right? So that's
Right.
$2,000. I mean,
$1,899.
you've got two different phones pushing $2,000. All right.
Mhm.
I see that as a bit steep, especially
I
when
see that as an expensive phone.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's not something that you're going to trade out every year. All right.
No.
No, all right. And to be very, very honest, I mean, when the OnePlus Open is $12.99, all right, and that's the same thing as the Samsung Fold, as the Google Fold. It's the same thing. All right. Same style of phone, right? And it's at $12.99 to start. So I'm wondering, and they've got a better folding phone in terms of the
Mhm.
crease, right?
Yep.
I don't
I was
understand how or
impressed.
why, but
I was gonna say I looked at that at the
mhm,
Verizon store today. Didn't pick anything up. I was just window shopping at this point.
sure.
Um, and they did a great job. I mean, the Pixel 9 Pro
OnePlus
Fold is on it
or Google
really.
or Google, which
Google
one?
did. Google
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 did.
did a
Okay,
great job. Yeah. And then with the new Pixel 9 Fold, it's probably the first one that I would have considered buying if it wasn't
okay,
for the cameras. If they
sure.
would have had the same cameras that they had in the 9 Pros, the other 9 Pros, I'd have been in it. You still will notice the crease. I will notice the crease, but it's probably the least noticeable it's been in any foldable I've seen, including Samsung's. I did look at the Samsung's while I was there too, and I could still see it. So, but I'd rather spend $800 less on the 9 Pro
Hmm.
XL and get almost the same hardware and get a better camera. That's
Right.
just what I'm doing. So, and that's kind of decisions that people have to make. For
Well,
some
sure.
people, it's a little different. You know, I my dad's my dad actually has, I think he has a Pixel 6 Pro as
Okay,
well. So I don't know whether he's going to upgrade or not. I know my brother did upgrade to the 8 Pro, and he's already talking about the 9 Pro. So some Pixel fans are starting to get like iPhone people, and they want to have the new one every year. So,
mm,
but it's not quite as prevalent as it is on the iDevice side, where some
sure.
people will literally go into the program where they get the new iPhone every year. I personally, that to me, that's a nightmare. I hate, you know, I don't care how streamlined anybody makes it. Every phone switch over has pain. So from one phone to
Agreed.
the next.
Agreed.
So I mean, even Apple's way of doing it, you still have pain. All right.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing on the Google side of things too. So, if there's not that much difference, which I'm saying now, if you own a Pixel 8 Pro,
Mm.
wait for the 10. Just wait for the 10. There's no
Yeah.
sense to go
See,
get it out right
and
now.
I would agree with you there. All right, I would definitely
You know,
agree with you there.
but
Um,
I don't have an 8, so I'm going with the 9. So, you know,
there you go.
so I
Well,
mean,
you still got the 6, right? I mean,
I do.
you waited three
3
generations,
years.
you
Yeah,
know,
Yep.
so that's
It's
not too bad.
time.
Yeah,
It's
it
time.
is.
it is.
It works. My only complaint uh has been, and it's not Google's fault, it's DJI's fault.
Hmm.
I loaded the August update when it came out, beginning
Yeah.
of the month, and all of a sudden DJI Fly, which is the app I use for my um for flying my drone, and
Hmm.
DJI Mimo, which is the app they use for the pocket cameras, wouldn't launch. Would not launch. I ended up tweeting to DJI. I said, "Hey, what's the deal here?"
Right.
And they asked me what phone I had, and they sent me a link with APKs for the that fixed the problem. All right, and that's all because DJI doesn't have their stuff listed in the Play Store anymore.
Really?
Why? Yeah, they haven't been listed
Really
in there since 2021. So you've had to
interesting.
sideload those apps for a while.
they're
So
just not going to give up the money. That's all.
I don't know if it's
Well,
money with them or if it's something else, because you got to remember DJI is a China brand.
yeah.
They're made in China and in Shanghai.
Okay.
So they're that could be a reason. Not 100% sure, but but I I disagree with all these articles. I really think that having the price points is the way that they're gonna, if they have enough price points to get people in, then eventually maybe next year they'll buy the 10 Pro, you know.
Maybe.
So we'll see what happens. And I am planning on probably maybe either Friday or Saturday I'll be picking up the Pixel 9 Pro XL. That's if my local Verizon has it in stock.
Hmm.
So otherwise I'll order it and they can ship it to me. I don't care. I'll wait for it. But And it'll be, since Verizon only has the Obsidian in the 9 Pro XL, that's the color I'm getting. Doesn't matter, I'm slapping it in a case anyway. So we'll be looking for more on that. But I will say one thing, in my brief look at them at the store, it didn't feel much different than my Pixel 6 Pro. Which I think is a good thing. I mean, now granted, I'm just looking at it in the store, so I'm not fully exploring Gemini and the advanced Gemini features of it, but so that opinion probably will change as I get it in my hands and get it set up. But
Google and Apple both are very good at making minor evolutionary changes, nothing revolutionary. And that is good. People get used to a type of phone, the way it works, and
I mean, the
no
biggest
reason to make it
difference,
different. Yeah. Why?
right? The biggest difference is going to be how it looks. It's not going to have this glass back. It'll have the 9 Pro will have the matte back with the glossy rails. And it has the new camera visor on it that's different than that one, which is I don't think it's much thicker than this one, to be honest, but it's and when you get it in a case, it'll be just like it's barely noticeable. So we'll see what and this is probably the first time I'm probably considering with the MagSafe style cases, because they don't have Qi 2 charging in the Pixel line yet. Maybe that'll happen next year, but it's going to be exciting. It'll be interesting to get onto that phone and see what the differences are. I mean, this has what, Tensor Core 1. So now the new one has a 4, so we'll see how the G4 works for me. But and I think the RAM is a bigger deal for me than that, because I think this is what, 8 gig. I'm trying to remember how much they had in the 6 Pro, but
I do not know.
8.
Yeah. 8. Yeah. So it's double the gate. It's double the RAM. So yeah, that should make multitasking on it quite a bit easier, I would think. So, but we'll see when it gets in house.
Yeah. Well,
and that's kind of where we're talking about with Chris's next article here, finding the right case for your new device. And boy, let me tell you, it's difficult.
It's not an easy choice. Now, I know a lot of folks don't necessarily, I mean, they go, their devices go naked, right?
Yep.
Lots of folks today don't use a case, right? One of the reasons why I know my devices always get the best trade-in values is because I'm always got them in a case. They're always in a case. All right. No scratches on the screens.
Mine might have to go a day or two without a case until I get mine from Amazon.
A day or two, yeah. A day or two, yeah. But
we're gonna get it. It's gonna get in the case like that weekend.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I don't trust myself. I broke screens before. Okay. Even when it was in a case, I broke a screen before. All right.
See, I haven't, but that doesn't mean that I won't,
That's true.
That doesn't mean that I won't. So I'm always wanting to have my device in a case, and more so I want the case to be just as attractive and
as
just as appealing as the phone itself. All right. Currently, and I've got both my my iPhone 15 Pro Max and my Samsung S24 Ultra in a quad lock case. Now it's a bit of a rugged case that supports MagSafe. All right, but they're both really, really nice cases. Previously, I've had my iPhones in leather cases. There are some manufacturers out there that make a really nice leather case. I've had carved cases for my iPhones that do wood and Oh Jesus. My brain is taking a deep
Holiday.
turn.
Resin.
Resin, thank you. Resin, sort of a swirled resin, combination. Carved has got
Yeah.
some burls, because they're up in the Northeast in New England. They've got some burls and some really nice resins that colored resins that they match with them for different looks and styles, and just
Oh, you should have
about
told me about that.
they're all just about one of a kinds
Oh,
because they will go ahead and have some really interesting looks, and you're not going to find anyone even in the same block of wood, even with the same resin pour. They're going to be different per each slice, right?
like that one. Oh, that is gorgeous. Oh, it's glow in the dark too.
Yeah,
That's cool.
some of them are really nice,
Oh,
you know.
it's yeah, I'd spend $50 on that. See, that's the thing too, is I've seen cases where like the standard Pixel case, Pixel for the
Mhm.
Pixel 9 series, $35. And I can get a case for 11 that has more features than that.
Mhm.
And this just as good looking. Yeah.
Mhm.
This is just another level here. I'm not a huge slave to MagSafe, although I'm curious about it. I have a couple of chargers already
Right.
for my iDevices, but I do like pretty cases. And that one, if I had to pick one, it'd be either between that one or
Yeah, I can see the reflection in your glasses. You're having a good time.
oh yeah. Oh,
We see
Elisa looks
Amazon in
good
his
too.
glasses.
Well, I can see he's on the carved site
Carved,
looking. He's on the
Carved.
carved site
yeah,
looking at the
like
different.
the Elisa. I think that was
Yeah,
beautiful too. Oh,
they've
I
got some
love it.
unusual names for some of their cases, but
Hmm.
finding the right case that is not only protective but attractive is important.
Yeah,
Um, you've spent a lot of money on the phone. You want it to look good. Um, the biggest problem that I have right now, when we were talking about this during the pre-show, is the cases for the foldable phones, right?
yeah.
Because the front of the this case, either for my OnePlus Open or for my Samsung Galaxy 5 Fold, is I mean, it's nothing but an outline, just an edge sort of thing, right? Um,
You're gonna
and
cost
that's
me money,
it. There's
Chris.
nothing to it, right? Everything is on the back, right? Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, and
Well,
they're all
and it's
expensive. So
and what I found, at least when I've been, because I've been eyeing, especially today, I've been eyeing
mhm,
cases today for my upcoming phone purchase,
right,
and they're either functional
uh-huh,
and kind of meh,
and kind of
you know,
ugly,
yeah, or they're
or
beautiful and they don't have the features that you want. None of these cars have the MagSafe built into them.
right.
But you can go get a pocket knife to match the phone case.
But you can get a pocket knife to match
Yeah,
your phone case, and theirs
yeah,
are really nice looking too.
yeah, they
I know
are.
that there are a
And
lot
I'm a
of
knife guy, so
I
yeah.
know that there are a lot of metal or plastic rings that you can get with some sort of a metal insert to help put the magnetic attraction on the back of the phone. But then, especially
Mhm.
for a carved case, it takes away from
The look.
the
Yep.
beauty and the look of the phone.
Yep.
Um,
Unless you can somehow get it to go on the inside of the case, and then you
which
might
will
be
potentially scratch the
yeah.
device.
Yeah.
You know,
Depending on what I'm
not something
depending
that I
it
would
well,
chase after, but
it depends on what kind of ring you're putting on it. So I've seen some rings that are literally a little bit more than stickers. Those might be fine,
if
but
they're
it's like
metal, no. If they're metal,
right.
no. If they're
Yeah.
plastic, maybe. All right,
Right.
maybe. Um,
Right.
the ones that I've seen that are really thin are all metal in and of themselves, simply because it's the thing that is going to attract the magnet. So
Mm-hmm.
I've tried it on an older phone. I tried it on the inside, and I didn't like the way that it sounded when the phone slid in there. And I went, nope, 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 nope. Worked
Mm-hmm.
it out of the case very, as gently as I could and pulled it out of there. Um, So no. No.
Yeah.
I got lucky.
Yeah.
It didn't
And see,
scratch
that's also
back.
too like, and that's the other thing too. I'll probably order the cheap one, but I may save up and get me that Caleb because that thing's gorgeous. Oh, or any of them. I mean, honestly, I'd like one of each, please. Okay, carved. Hey, you want some reviews? Send me some cases. Seriously, you know.
We'll publish them on iTechGear.org for sure.
And I think another
Absolutely.
thing too, a case is probably, other than the phone itself, it's probably the next most personal thing about that device that you have with you all the time.
It makes a statement about you. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like for me, like some of the cases, like there are some. There's another company by the name of what was the one with the wood cases I saw on Amazon. But there's a case that has wood cases on Amazon, that have has like a tree with the top half of the tree and the roots on it, which really fits the kind of lifestyle I'm kind of putting myself in and being an avid hiker now. I mean, dude, I'm doing between 4 and 8 miles a day, depending on how much time I have, so that's part of me. That is part of me, as well as photography is a part of me. And if I can have a case that puts that on display as well, that's kind of like my trademark. So, that's an important thing with the phone, and I think it's probably in no other time. Like I will say this, like I've always and still am a little bit jealous of iPhone people, because you literally can walk into Walmart and have a huge amount of choices and cases. Not so with pretty much every other phone. So the only way, the best way to get a phone,
for Samsung. You'll see them for Samsung phones, but not necessarily for Google phones, not necessarily for OnePlus or any other Android related phones. You won't see them for LGs. You won't see them for Motorola. You won't see them for, not in Walmart. You'll find them online. They're everywhere. They're crazy online.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Right? It's easy to get one online. I mean, I literally put that in the case in the Amazon today, and I'm like, holy cow, there's so many.
Right.
That's not a bad thing. I like that.
It's not.
But
at the same time, maybe not so much. But
yep. And I'm also not one of those ones I've never been a laptop sticker person either. I don't like to do that too much. Although I do have one on my my favorite scripture, Joshua 1:9, on my laptop as I speak right here. But that's one that's personal to me, and one that actually looks good. I don't take the stickers you get at the Linux Fest and slap it all on the back of my laptop. And I wouldn't do that to a phone either. But that's just me. So but
so what else I've seen? It's a good get a case, find a case, get a case, get it on your phone. One of the things that I saw earlier today when I was trying to put some show notes together for tonight, and this one really kind of struck me the wrong way. Elon Musk has sent a note to the staff at X, saying that they can have their stock options if they can prove to him that they deserve them. I don't know if this has anything to do with existing stock options that they've already been granted or not.
Yeah, there's not a lot there. Maybe these stock options, he's looking at them as being performance related, which I could see, but we don't know the contracts they signed. We don't know a whole lot of anything about it, to be honest.
But oddly, he said, if you can prove to me you deserve it. So that would say they initially didn't have any strings. In other words, he owed them the stock options, but he's now, out of the goodness of his heart, going to make them pay extra for it.
Yeah.
By proving to me you're a dictator.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's his company. He can run his company how he wants to. We don't have to agree with how he does it.
He can. People don't have to work for him if they don't want to.
That is true.
Yeah, it's like they're there's many people that will say, well, I don't like what that such and such company does. I'm like, well, you don't have to work there. I mean,
Very
you
true.
can't make the owners do what you want to do. It's just how it is,
Very, very true.
So
If this has to do with already existing grants, I think he may have a couple of legal issues. Whether they're vested or not, they've already been granted to those folks by Twitter management, and I don't know that he can go back and rescind those options. I don't know that he can yank them back. It will be interesting to see what happens with this. The article that we're citing is from The Verge. So
yeah.
I know that when you work for a smaller company or for a startup or whatever, one of the biggest reasons why you would do something like that is because there's inherently a lot of risk in working for a company like that, simply because there's a chance that they won't necessarily stick around. Is that the management tends to grant stock options to folks so that they provide their time, their talents to the overall effort and success of the organization. So it's built into your employment agreement, and normally it's something that you don't necessarily, once the grant has been given, you have to be with the organization for X number of years before you can tap into them. But that is part of usually your annual compensation package that gets reviewed, right?
Yep.
So I can understand, okay, fine. Maybe for new grants, you have a chance to get up to X number of shares at, or options at whatever strike price. And then he wants you to go ahead and write a Dear Elon and say, I deserve mine because, all right, my role does this. I provided this. I've done this, that, and the other thing, and I'm a really cool guy. Please like me, right? Okay, I can see for you want to try for options. Great. For new salary reviews or current and future salary reviews. If you want the options, you got to write a Dear Elon and get it and have it approved. Okay. But for already granted options, I don't know that you can yank them back. If he's talking about those, he's going to have a fight on his hands, and one I think he'll probably lose. But that's just me. So I don't know.
It is what it is.
I will tell you that the only company that I have ever had stock options, and it's effectively free money. All right, but the only company that I've ever had stock options with that were worth anything, all right, was a company that I was with from 2002 to like 2000, mid 2005. And when I went and I cashed some of those in, it's a nice little payday.
Yep.
Nice little payday, but still, it's of all the companies that I've had extend options to me, it's only worked with one.
I've only worked for state institutions or private companies at this point in my life. So never ever had stock options, although I do have 401k through my current company.
Or it's a completely different deal, though. It's a completely different deal. So
Sure as heck is. Yep.
yeah.
But
there are happier things on the horizon. Apparently.
yep. And today is a happy day.
Well, if you are
If you're a penguin.
if you're a penguin, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Meaning today is Linux's 33rd birthday.
Damn, I'm old. I remember when it was such a new thing, and in the we're talking late 90s, which it wasn't really that new then, but that's really when it started to take off, was late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And I just remember how we all got excited with wobbly windows and other enhancements to the Linux desktop, because let's face it, until right about that time, the Linux desktop wasn't so pretty. Now it's beautiful. And
there are some Linux desktops out there.
Oh, there's so many gorgeous distributions
absolutely
out there.
just amazing. Honest to goodness. I mean,
it makes me wish I could run Adobe Creative Cloud on a Linux desktop and I can toss Windows out the curb, but that's not happening right yet.
Not yet.
But yeah, it was 33 years ago, August 25th, 1991. The then 21-year-old Finnish student Linus Benedict Torvalds made his now famous announcement on CompOS Minix newsgroup. Newsgroups were a thing. They still exist, but nobody hardly uses them anymore. Right. He's working on a free operating system for 386/486 AT clones. It's just a hobby. It's not going to be big and official like GNU is, but let's look at what it's done in the last 33 years. I mean, I work on Linux practically every day. I have laptops that are actually 5-10 years old that are still in my office that I still use on a weekly basis, that because I can run Linux on it, and it would be impossible to use or very slow to use Windows 11 on it. So, and they're free. I mean, I can go and download. In fact, there's literally a Linux distro thing that you can buy, or not download, I should say, install on a thumb drive, and then all you got to do is copy the ISO image to. And I should write an article about this, but copy the ISO, copy the ISO to the thing, and you can boot. And like, especially really handy now that you can get thumb drives that are like as big as hard drives used to be.
If not bigger.
If not bigger, yeah. And you can boot off of any one of those disks and either play with the live distro, or you can install it. It really never has been easier to try Linux. I mean, if you actually want to buy actual hardware that only runs Linux, you go but you don't want to sacrifice your big expensive gaming laptop. You can buy a Raspberry Pi for right around $85 and have everything you need, and you just need a monitor.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it is so easy to try nowadays. If you haven't tried it, try it. I mean, keep that old laptop when you buy a new laptop and put it on there and try and learn, teach yourself how to use it. It's not as difficult as it used to be.
I will guarantee you there is a distribution of Linux that is out there that will run on your older laptops.
Absolutely.
Many of them.
That on your i3 or i5 laptop from 3 to 7 years ago, that by far will bring life back to it. And allow you to pass it down to somebody in grade school or high school, and allow them to get homework done on it.
Yeah, right? My primary Linux box is an old Dell Ultrabook i5. It's got to be 10 years old or 9.
And there are distributions that are.
The only downside is kind of
blazingly
like a dim display, but that's other than that, it's a good machine.
Absolutely. Yep. And you may still even be able to buy RAM for it. So there you go.
Maybe. Yeah. Heck, I can still, for my old yoga book that I do have Linux on it right now, I'm running Manjaro on it, and it needs new battery. Because now if I unplug it, it will just, it goes right off. But I can still go on Amazon and buy a battery for $40, and it'd be just as good as it was.
There you go.
When I bought it. So, and I have done it at least once before on the same machine. It's not easy, but it's not impossible.
but not horrible either.
No, nope.
And very easy to get along with. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Happy birthday, Linux. We love
Happy
you.
birthday, Linux. So
Yeah.
not too bad. Hey, you know what? I'm going to move us to our Windows segment in just a minute. But first, we'll get there right after this brief message. 100 episodes. The iTechGear Weekly has more than 100 episodes. We've been doing this, oh my goodness, for almost 4 years. And to be very honest, the iTechGear Weekly needs your help. We need your subscriptions. We need your donations. Anything at any time would be very much appreciated. We need your help. I will tell you that I am about $3,000 a year in on site maintenance as well as show maintenance. And while we're not really going to stop, we really do need your help. Any kind of donation that you can go ahead and provide to us, either through a Patreon subscription or directly to the site via my personal PayPal, Chris at iTechGear.org, would be greatly appreciated. You can subscribe to a monthly newsletter for just a small amount every month at www.patreon.com/iTechGear. If you do that, you get a summary of all of the shows. You get a summary of all of the articles that we post with direct links to everything that happens on the site. Boy, we've had a great time over the last 3 years and change, providing everyone with the steps and procedures needed to make technology all that much easier to understand and use. Boy, again, we could use your help in making it easier to provide those wonderful things that we do, that voodoo that we do so well, to you on a daily and weekly basis. So please, if you have the time, smash that subscribe button on the podcast. If you have the time and you have the inkling, go to our Patreon site, www.patreon.com/iTechGear. Subscribe to our newsletter. Provide us with a small donation. One time, monthly, doesn't matter. We'll go ahead and continue to provide you with that knowledge and insight that all four of us have every week. I want to say thank you to you, even if you don't donate, even if you don't subscribe. I still want to thank you for the opportunity to come to you every week, because we sure do have a great time doing the show. So from all of us here at the iTechGear Weekly and from iTechGear.org, we thank you, we love you, and we'll see you soon. And welcome back to the iTechGear Weekly, episode number 104. I like big phones and I cannot lie. So getting into our Windows segment, this is something that I to be honest, I was wondering when this was going to happen. All right. Yes, I'm citing our one of our most favorite sites in the entire world, NeoWin, and I say that because Chris G isn't here, but
he would have you if he was.
Oh, I'm gonna get a phone call. I know I am. But apparently Microsoft is finally officially planning to kill the Windows control panel quote unquote, sometime soon. All right, with the bunny ears, right? Um, this is something that they had been wanting to kill off sooner, right? But um, this particular app gives you access to system settings, hardware settings, software settings, etc., that you just wouldn't that haven't, and a lot of them haven't been migrated over to settings, and that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The when Windows 10 was released back in, what was it, 2015 or so, right? Um, they came out with a new the settings app, which was exactly the same as Control Panel, except that it was completely different, right? And because it gave you access to the same features, everybody sort of was still used to going to Control Panel, but and over time they had migrated some features out of, well, I say out of, they haven't deprecated anything in Control Panel to force you into settings. I think that they were sort of waiting for it all to get over there, and then they were just going to go ahead and kill it. But I think um, that they're just going to go ahead and pull the plug. Don't you think?
Well, they say nearly everything that people truly use has been migrated over. I
Sure.
know a few things haven't, but are those few things really necessary? I would ask.
And then there's you can still get into God mode. That functionality still exists in Windows 10, Windows 11. You just need to um, create a special folder with a special name on your desktop, and it'll put everything there for you. So if there's something there that you need to tweak that you can't get to, provided that those dialog boxes and those functions don't get yanked out of Windows, you'll still be able to get to what you need to. But they're just talking right now about yanking Control Panel out and not giving you normal access to that. But
I don't think that'll hurt the average user. I just
no,
don't.
no,
I mean,
I don't
even
think it
I rarely have to go to Control Panel for anything in Windows
true.
11.
True. I agree. But hey, did you guys also see, and I saw this and I kind of laughed. Did you guys also see that Microsoft is still planning on bringing um Windows Recall
Yep, I read it.
into Windows, and apparently it's going to be available to try in, I think, October. This is we've said this before. We've said this before. We'll say it again. This
God,
is
it's
a feature
such
that
a
will
horrible
never
idea.
get right. So Microsoft is committed and has confirmed that Windows Recall is still on track to enter public testing with insiders this year. The company says it expects to release the first Windows 11 preview build with Windows Recall in October. It was delayed back in June to address security concerns users had with it. And it is a feature that remains exclusive to Copilot Plus PCs, which is fine. I will tell you that this is a feature that is never, ever going to get into any enterprise build of Windows. It's never going to hit, at least the way that Recall is currently architected, designed, engineered, etc. I mean, I can't have any screenshots constantly taken of my machine. All
You know,
right.
Microsoft continues to do things to make me want to quit using Windows completely. That's
Yep.
not good. Why? I shouldn't have to feel like that. It's not my primary operating system, but I
Well,
do use it. But I don't even want to anymore. I'm
I
so
get why some think it might be useful, and I could see why it might be useful, but I would love, I mean, if you have it in there, give me a way to turn it off so that I can keep it turned off 90% of the time and turn it on when I want it to be on.
Well,
But they would argue that recall is something, if you turn it off, therefore it's not useful. You have to have it turned on 24/7 to be
all
useful.
right,
for it to
whatever.
be useful, right? Because you're going to want to, go back
You
into
can't go
you
back
step in
to
the
a
Wayback
period where it
Machine,
was
right?
turned off. That's the problem.
Right.
And
So
I still don't like it. I'm sorry. I don't like it.
no,
Yeah,
no,
right,
I
right.
don't
Me
like the
either.
Big Brother. I don't like the Big Brother
No,
implications
no.
that are there as well. Not just the security issues that are there with sensitive data that's on the screen, but I don't like what potentially could happen with an IT enterprise director, manager, or VP type that would say, "Hey, you know what? We think that Chris is screwing off. I don't know if he's doing his deliverables are down. He's not. We don't think he's. Go look at his Windows recall screenshots and tell me what's going on." All right. Um, Microsoft though has a new blog out in this, and that updated blog post says, and I quote, "With a commitment to delivering a trustworthy and secure recall-free
Mm-hmm.
view experience on Copilot Plus PCs for customers, we're sharing an update that Recall will be available to Windows insiders starting in October. Security continues to be our top priority."
Notice they leave out the word privacy, though.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
security, sure, we'd expect
Security
it to
is
be
one thing, but
secure.
privacy is completely not in
That's
here.
another.
All right. And when Recall is available for Windows insiders in October, we will publish a blog with more details.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so much for privacy in Windows, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Well, when they first brought it out, they got a bunch of backlash. I remember that.
The moment they said constantly take screenshots of your machine, the entire blogiverse just went boom.
Yep.
Everybody. All right. There's nobody that I know of that heard of this that said, this is something that I'm looking forward to having on my machine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want it, don't need it. Thank you.
Nope. Nope. Not at all.
Nope. Not even a little bit. Thank you very much, Lee. So yeah. No. No, 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 no. Anyway, so yeah. It's something else that Microsoft is also waving goodbye to, and there's the waving is
This
a
one they
little bit of
should.
punt. I'm sorry.
This one they should wave goodbye to.
Well, yeah, they've got underwater data centers, and they are closing down all of their underwater data centers.
Yeah.
So,
from elsewhere in the world of meh,
yeah,
Microsoft is sinking its underwater data centers. I know, terrible pun, but
yeah.
after only 6 years, it's dumping its underwater data centers. And I think they launched them back in 2018 as part of Project Natick. What's odd about this to me, though, is the failure rate of their underwater data centers is only 20% of the failure rate of their land-based data centers. That's kind of odd. Microsoft gave no reason for killing them, only it said that they would take all the lessons that they learned in the last 6 years and apply them to future projects. What a prolific statement.
Well, were they using the seawater to help cool the data centers? Is that why they stuck them underwater to begin
I can't
with?
find anything written about this to speak of. Nothing. It's just Microsoft has underwater data centers. They're buried, where they're buried, basically, and how they're buried, how they do it. You can see videos of how they drop them in and cable them down and all that. But what they do and who they do it for, nothing that I can find.
So was it the lack of oxygen that allowed them to run so well? Was it the lack of heat? Because I know these were
Personally, I
supposed
think
to
it
be in
was
the
an
North Sea, right? It's a little colder.
personally, I think it was an experiment. So they don't have a boatload of them out there. They probably got, 1 bazillionth of the horsepower they have on
Right.
land in their data centers. So obviously you're going to have a lesser failure rate. You have less of them, but
Well, yeah. So they were in the Scottish Sea,
right,
117 feet below the surface,
about.
right?
I think they foresaw some future problems maybe, and working okay now, but these are not going to work in 20 years, so we better pull them up and kill the project before it gets out of hand.
Maybe
But they're
I
never
don't.
going to admit that. You'll never read it anywhere. So
Yeah, I don't know if the round tubes, the big giant tubes that they had these computers in, with a nitrogen sort of atmosphere inside the tube. Oxygen didn't fare the hardware very well, but it's only needed for humans and not machines. So the nitrogen was supposed to have some preservation factors in it. So I'm thinking, well, it was an interesting idea and an interesting experiment. Hey, the cooler temperatures in the
well,
North Sea.
excessive oxygen can hurt equipment.
Yep.
So maybe that's the reason.
I don't
I
know,
don't know.
and the cold. I mean, it's in the North Sea. It's in Scotland, right? So the cooler temperatures, constantly cooling the data center, right? Maybe they thought, hey, this might be we're concerned about heat. We're concerned about oxygen. I know. Let's stick them under the water and see how it goes.
They ought to put co-pilot in those tubes and bury them again.
Uh-huh. Right in the middle of a volcano would be the greatest
Yep.
place for them to be.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's the last thing that I wanted to share in our Windows segment. But so I want to go and move us to our tip of the week segment. And this week I have got a pretty spiffy tip in celebration of the Linux birthday, of Linux 33rd birthday. Um, I've got a Linux tip for this week. So, which is a first for us. Um, this week's tip there's a lot of work that gets done in terminal on Linux. So which is basically the command prompt in Windows, or again terminal in Mac OS. But if you're wanting to go ahead and get everybody to all, you write your scripts, you change your directories, and if for whatever reason though you want to get back to the last working directory that you were in, and you're not necessarily sure what that may have been, or if it's a long doggone thing to type, there's a nice little shorthand command that you can type at the prompt in terminal to get you back to the last working directory, and that is cd space dash, and hit enter. All right. This will put you back in the last working directory that you were in, and you won't need to type the long directory path or copy and paste any longer in order to get there, which is kind of cool. So while you're busy writing your scripts and whatnot in Linux, if you have to go back to the last working directory that you were in, cd space dash, hit enter, and you won't have to type the big long path. So there you go. All right. I want to move us to our pick of the week segment. And before we get there, again, I want to remind everyone that our picks are really just typically hardware, software, and other items of interest that we have either individually purchased or we actually use, and we like enough that we want to recommend them to you, our growing listener base. These aren't any paid advertisements or items that we have any kind of an affiliated marketing relationship with. If there was one of those things in place, well, then the editorial policy over at iTechGear.org says, hey, we've got to disclose that to you up front. These are things that we just sincerely believe in. And we want to bring them to you at the end of each show. Why?
Because we like you.
There you go. And this week, excuse me, I have a really useful sort of pick this week. It's only $6.99, which is not too bad. If you have an Android watch, and you want to change bands and you can't find, or you lose, or they get damaged sometimes, those wonderful little spring bar pins that attach the band to the actual watch that you're looking at. You need, I've got what you need right here. The Oli Top 22 millimeter quick release spring bar pins for a 22 millimeter band. All right, are available on Amazon for only $6.99. Nice thing about this particular page, you can get them here in 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, and 26 millimeters, depending on the size of your watch. You just need to make certain you know what size watch band that you have. I know that for my OnePlus Watch 2, it uses a 22 millimeter band, of which I have at least two spare bands sitting around here, and I couldn't find anything specifically branded for the OnePlus Watch 2 that I liked. And I looked around, and I've got some 22 millimeter bands here at the house, and I'm like, well, heck, I can use those. They fit, but I just didn't have the right size springboard pins because the band that comes with the Watch 2 has got them built into the band and you cannot remove them. So $6.99. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pins and a tool to help you install the pins on one side. Because not both sides have the nice little spring bar clip that you move with your fingernail. So $6.99. There you go. Not too shabby. Well, this, kids, has been the iTechGear Weekly, episode number 104. I like big phones, and I cannot lie. Recorded live Sunday, August 25th, 2024, live from iTechGear Central. As I said, I'm Christopher Spera, and for our Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin, Brother Joe McLaughlin, and absent Mr. Chris Gavula, I want to say we will see you next time.